going to need for ingredients is poached kielbasa, jambalaya mix, hot water, clean kitchen, then we can get started. And remember, for all the minors, be sure when handling knives such as this one, make sure you have your parents around. What we're going to start by doing first is we're going to start by cutting the meat. And usually we're going to do this, you can usually cut it into small halves like this, but I like to cut mine into little halves of half of those so you can have more meat flavor going throughout the whole meal. So I'm going to do this. Also, while I'm doing this, over there on the stove, we've actually got, what's it called? We got water boiling, because we're going to put this in boiling hot water also first. So, what you do is you go ahead and just start to cut your meat, let your water boil. And usually if you want a nice taste to your meat, what you should do is you should boil your water in, what's it called? You should boil your water with a little bit of vegetable oil in there, just about a teaspoon of vegetable oil. So, while I'm doing this, you all should be able to go ahead and get started and handle your business as far as that. So you all should be cutting the meat right now also. Just making sure that everything comes out right, and making sure everything tastes well. And also make sure that you have the right type of kielbasa. Usually you want to just get a regular poached kielbasa because it has good flavor, not a fat-free one. Usually they have a little lack of flavor, but to always make up for the flavor, you can always use something like little salt. Now, as you can see, we've chopped all the meat up into small little, we say about quarter-round inch things, and we put them into this little carrying container. The reason why we chop the meat before we boil the meat is because, one, the kielbasa is going to swell while it's boiling. It's going to get larger. And the reason why we do this, we chop it up before, a lot of people like to chop after, but the reason why we're chopping before is because we want most of the flavor to come out. As you can see, I got the boiling water going. I say high boiling water. See that? Also, another good thing about cooking is you always want to make sure that you're comfortable. What you see right now, I'm about to go ahead and dump this into the water. Now that we've dumped that into the water, we're going to take a little stirring spoon, or fork, whatever, and we're going to evenly distribute all the little, see, this is about the size of each piece right here. We're going to evenly distribute it amongst the boiling water. Now the water should stop boiling for a while, and that's normal. That is totally normal because you've just made a change into it. For those that didn't pass science class, we've just made a chemical change to the whole water. Therefore, the compounds are not the same. Therefore, stop boiling for a while. We're going to let that come back to a boil. But what I was saying about being comfortable, oh man, hold on, let me readjust everything. You want to be as comfortable as you can when you cook. Like me, right now I have on a little t-shirt, sweatpants, I'm very comfortable. Another thing is you want to make sure you're in a good environment where you know you can be as comfortable as you can. This is for later. Yes, we're going to be popping bottles. No, let me stop messing with you. Don't drink while you're cooking though. You always want the food to make sure it comes out perfect. So right now we're going to let that boil. While we're letting that boil, I'm going to get the sauce ready that's going to actually make the concoction of the jambalaya. And jambalaya is a Creole dish, mainly consisting of rice and sausage pretty much. It's not like gumbo, where gumbo is the little leftovers of everything, but this is more like a small, simple Creole dish. Has a little bit of spice. You can even use sausage, shrimp, you can even use chicken. I suggest shrimp. If you're allergic to shrimp, be careful, take a Benadryl before you start it. The shrimp is usually like the best kind of flavoring for the jambalaya. But tonight we're definitely using sausage, but like I said, you can always substitute, or you can put them all together if that's the thing. So we're gonna get back to you with that, and make sure you clean everything. Okay, the next step of the cooking process is actually making the jambalaya. While I was actually cooking the sausage, and this is the finished sausage product, probably doesn't look too much different, but trust me, there's definitely a significant change. Now, I wish you could smell the aura that's around right now. The effervescent smell is beautiful. It's a great smell. What's going on in this smaller saucepan is that you have 2.5 cups of boiling water. What we're about to do is we're about to mix the actual jambalaya mix, which is more like a rice and seasoned mix, with the sausage into this boiling pot of water. Now, also in this boiling pot of water, we're going to bring it back to a boil. So as you see me add the rice, you're going to see that the water comes to stops boiling. And like I told you before, it's because there's a chemical change. I don't like to make things difficult, but I'll say it for what it is. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stir this up. And as you should see in there, it's more like a burgundy bourbon type. It's a bourbonish kind of color. Bourbon is like a brown. For those that don't know, let's say Hennessy. Hennessy is a bourbon, yes. So yeah, it's more like a bourbon color in there right now. What we're going to do is, as you can already see, the water is already reacting to that and is boiling already. So what we're going to do now is add the sausage in there. Okay. And right now you should smell the smells right now. It smells absolutely great. I wish I had smell-o-vision, but unfortunately my camera isn't that strong. But that is coming to you. Cooking with Vintage again. This is the first installment of Cooking with Vintage. With all this great cooking going on in here, it's getting hot in the kitchen. You know what they say, if you can't take the heat, step out the kitchen. And what we're going to do is we're going to let that return to a boil with the sausage in that up there. Once it returns to a boil, right now it looks like a sauce. When you see the finished product, it's going to be absolutely great. But we're going to let that return to a boil for about 5 or 6 minutes. Just pure boiling. Once it returns back to its boil, then we're going to put a cover on it, and then we're going to absolutely get to work with it. I mean, it's going to be fabulous. Great tasting food right there. I mean, it's really getting hot in the kitchen now. Gosh. I mean, it's getting hot in here. Rub guy, take your shirt off, you know. So what I'm about to do now, while that's getting to a quick boil, I'm going to finish cleaning the pot that I boiled the sausage. I love to clean right after because that means the cleanup after you're done eating is great. Most people, when they get done eating, they want to go straight to sleep. So that's what I'm doing. And as you can see right now, actually, I'm about to bring you to it. Again, this is coming to a great boil. What we're going to do is we're going to spin it, stir it around. And that's just beautiful. I wish you all could smell it. I just see the steam coming off from it right now. This is like something totally amazing. And what you want to do, see, the purpose for stirring is that you don't want rice. Yes, there's rice in this at the bottom to be a bottom-fed rice. You want that rice to come up in between the sausages and in between the juices because you want the rice is where the real flavoring is. See, just because this looks like a soup now, it's not going to be a soup later. Those people who are professional cooks, they know exactly what I'm talking about. And you really want that rice to come up there and get all of that flavoring. Because once all that flavoring is in there, that's when the true essence of the meal comes out. And this is absolutely a great dish. This is a good dish. It's not that expensive. You can go to any little bodega and find jambalaya mix or any little C-town, Pathmark, whatever. You know, you can find this anywhere. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to do a little boiling while it's covered. Now, you should never boil things while it's covered because, as we both know, when water freezes, it rises. When water boils, it also, evaporates. And the thing is, you don't want it to evaporate that hard because, I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but when you lift it up, there's a lot of steam. Steam is hot. Steam is hot water. It can hurt you. It can burn you. I'm going to stir this one more time. Oh yeah, as I can feel it right now. It's already starting to get richer within its quality and texture. All right, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to cover it again. I'm going to turn the flame down. I'm going to turn the flame down low. We're going to let this cook for about 15 to 25 minutes. Because I say 15 to 25 because depending on how long you let it boil hard, it can change the slow cook time. But you want to cook it slow cook for a longer time. That way the flavor really emerges up into the food. And while that's going on, I'm going to be washing this plate. Alright, so this is the finished product right here. A nice rice dish called jambalaya. As you can see, all the herbs and spices are in there, and the smell is totally magnificent, I must admit that. So, what have you learned from this cooking session? That one, Mr. Vintage Kicks can't cook. But more than likely that it doesn't take a lot to cook. It's a simple thing, and everybody's doing it, you know what I'm saying? So I want to do a few special shout outs to everybody that helped me do this, which is myself, and just tell everybody thank you. So this is the first installment of Cooking in the Hood with Mr. Vintage Kicks. Hallelujah.